Oh, here it is.
There we go.
0 watching. 1 watching and it's me. Hi, everybody.
We did our demo today, John and I, and it was both of us. And all of a sudden there were 4 people watching.
My mom and I.
My friend Dan from California, he goes, "You guys look great."
You did one a few days ago, I think, too. And I watched that just to see if you
Yeah,
were going to.
that was completely
about it?
unintentional that we had that one up, unfortunately.
You didn't like my comments on it.
I didn't. I immediately got rid of it as quickly as I could.
I know.
I didn't even realize it was up as long as it was. Oh, here we are. Here's the.
Well,
live
but then
view.
it
Realize was up as long as it was.
the recording stayed. That's what it was.
Yeah, we thought we had taken it down.
On my phone, we're frozen on Facebook.
I
We
wish
look
I was
frozen to
frozen.
anybody
I'm still sweating from that exercise.
No, I can see. In fact,
I
I
can
see
see
the
too.
caption that says on my phone.
Oh,
It says
okay.
we're frozen.
I had the same thing, but now we're back in action.
Great. So we started a little bit early here. John is texting me. He's waiting for the signal. I see that we have now 7 people. Oh, good. We've got some people joining us. Sarah Jane, hello. Oh, Carol. Carol's here. The party has started, Barbara.
Okay, so don't say I don't bring the people because Sarah Jane is mine and Carol. So don't say I don't bring the followers.
Oh, that's great.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Who else
Someone's
we have?
waiting
Oh,
for a
we've got
live
Marla.
video signal.
Marla, were your ears just burning? I might have to share the email that you sent earlier today during this event. Now she's thinking,
Jennifer,
what did I write?
welcome.
Bernie's here. Jennifer's here. Well, the Wednesday night group is well represented already. Sarah Jane, awesome.
Wednesday night.
Great, great.
Ellen,
Hey, guys. We're starting just a little informally. Just wanted to make sure our technology is working. But guys, I think we're good to go. What do you say? Thumbs up?
thumbs
All
up.
right. I've got my star of the show right next to me. We've all got our creamies. Excellent. I want to just welcome those of you who are here and those of you who may be watching this on recording to the very first Facebook Live with Next Step Lifestyle Coaching. And as an homage to Jimi Hendrix, John and I called this the Ninja Creami Experience for those of you who go back a few decades. So who do we have with us? We've got none other than the Creamy Queen, Barbara. Hello, Barbara. Good to see you.
Hello.
We also have Coach Kate,
Oh.
longtime Coach Kate, whose creamy credentials shall not be questioned. Sharing the
Yes.
throne with the Queen. And then we've got Susan, Susan, by my estimation, this is our 4th Facebook Live together. So
I
how
believe
great
you're
partner.
correct.
Totally great. And then behind the scenes, we've got John Niehaus. John Niehaus is, like Kate and myself, an HMR alumni, a very long-term friend of mine. John and I go back 33 years, and John was with HMR for 36 years. So he's making sure that things run smoothly behind the scenes. And John has also, post HMR career, begun his own one-on-one concierge lifestyle coaching. Phase 2 connections. So if anyone knows someone who wants that real hands-on one-on-one support, John's your man. Phase 2 connections. Guys, I'm just going to say it right up front. This is an event that demanded itself into existence, did it not? My God, just the conversations. Look at Kate, right? Mid-creamy, no less. The creamy has taken the country by storm. And you know, have you considered the fact this is like one of the rare food innovations that actually supports weight management? Every other innovation, it's all in the different direction. The bigger bags, the quicker food service delivery, the high fat food, the new monstrosities that get introduced all the time. So right to the point, guys, your Ninja Creami experience. Can you summarize it before we get into the details, before we're talking about the leaves on the trees? Just look at the forest for a moment. How would you summarize your experience with the Ninja Creami? Kate, top of your head, what's the first thing you'd say?
Well, I have a couple slogans in mind. One is, it was the best of times and the worst of times. There was Diet Orange Soda on my ceiling the other day in prepping for my creamy worst of times. And then I would also say, some of you might be familiar with this movie, how Stella or how Kate got her groove back. And every day, numerous times a day, I toast to my Creami.
Excellent, excellent. And I will say, Barbara and I have also seen, forget your ceiling, Creami spilled on the floor that you sent us a photo of at one point. Maybe just a little too aggressive for that first spoonful. All right, Barbara, how do you describe your Creami experience? How do you summarize?
It's amazing. I don't care how many times, every time I hold one in my hand and eat it, I think to myself, I'm on plan. I'm eating a whole pint of something that people are splurging 300, 600, 1,000 calories on. And I'm 200 calories, and really, and that keeps me in my weight goals, in everything else.
Totally.
It's fabulous to me. I think it's great. I haven't had all the mishaps that Kate has had, but I also don't eat 3 a day or whatever, as many as, Kate, volume wise, Kate has passed me. I have to say, quantity, I've been passed.
Gee, I'm so surprised.
Was it you?
Kate, the volume queen. Hey, Susan, before you summarize your experience with the Creami, say hi to Coach Nancy, who's joined us. Hey, Nance.
Nancy.
I miss you.
Yeah.
He's my real Facebook Live partner. My God. we
Right,
could tell
yeah.
something.
Get her on Zoom.
So let me just say now, Susan, we have some real Creami aficionados here. It was Barbara's idea. Let's have someone come on who has a little less experience with it. And I really like, you've got sort of a measured view on the Creami because you have a lot of your really favorite routines that you share every week. You've got your soup routines, you like your smoothie routines, but so, not everyone has to be like on the payroll here from the ninja executives. So what would you say about, I just want to make sure you're not feeling like you have to sort of wax poetic when this is really just one of many tools.
Right. So can I just share that when my weight loss was stalling, you invited me for like a private coaching session. And during that session, you forced me to purchase one. You said I had to. Remember?
What?
No.
So I did, and I bought it, and you said it was going to change my life. And I guess I was a little bit like Kate, too aggressive. I broke it.
Yeah,
So I only got to use it a few times, and in those few times that I did use it, I messed up. I was starting to get the hang of it, and I messed up, and then I broke it. So then I had to call their customer service, and a new part has come, or I guess, I don't know, they're replacing it, but it's on back order right now. And I guess that would apply to anybody who is inspired to buy one based on maybe this video, that it's going to take a few weeks because they're on back order right now. So I don't have mine to show. I don't have a Creami to eat during the event because of that.
That's okay. Yeah, your blade fell off. Like you said, is this the way it's supposed to be? My blade is at the bottom of every Creami that I make.
Didn't quite seem like it was supposed to do that. So
yeah, I said, that's
sure
not
enough,
quite
no.
the way it's supposed to work. Well, anyway, let's hope you get that thing back in really quickly. I will just say, for me, I really thought long and hard about this. How do I summarize this amazing new addition to my healthy eating? And, I don't want to overstate it, but in the universe of wonderful inventions throughout history, first there was fire, then there was the wheel, and now we have the Ninja Creami. I just am so excited about it, and I'm so glad that we're doing this event tonight. I do one almost every day. I love it. I haven't broken the more than one a day. That's probably something, Barbara, you need to confront me on, because it would only help me in all of my goals around my health and my weight management. By the way, can I just say, so Barbara, if you're the Creami queen and Kate shares the crown with you, Susan's is broken, does that make me the Creami king? The king of all things Creami? Is that what that
No,
means?
it
No,
makes
you're
you the
shaking your head
it makes
no.
you the jester, sweetheart.
What-
It makes you the
no.
jester. Yeah,
Do say, well, why would
Yeah.
you say that?
the joker. Well, because Kate and I have gone through so much to get you here that we deserve an award. We deserve some sort of award, because you act like you stumbled upon this and it was just by sheer by gift from the heavens, you found the Creami, instead of Barbara saying, why don't you have your Creami yet? Why don't you have it yet? Okay, you have it. Why haven't you opened the box? Open the box. Rick, have you opened the box yet? No. Rick, Did you open the box? Yeah, Barbara, but I got to tell you what was in the box.
Oh, I could tell you that. So I was, so after a lot of procrastination, I finally opened the box. And what was even worse, I had my daughter filming it because, of course, you know, I try to record everything. So I opened the box, ready to hear the angels singing with my Creami, and Amazon had sent me kitty litter trays in the exact same size as the Creami box. So yeah, so then I still didn't get on it. But yeah, it was actually weeks of you berating me, cajoling me, begging me to get
And
on
there-
the Creami
There's
bandwagon.
plenty of people out here that know I'm a berater if someone needs it, and you needed it. And especially now that I see that you have just become the
I
Lord
think
of the
you
Creami.
could call it like stolen valor here. It's what that me sitting here
Yeah.
talking about the beauty of the Creami.
Yes.
Kate, how desperate were my
Hey,
emails?
Rick, you guys give me a hard time for the diet orange soda on the ceiling. We could go on and on. There was a steep learning curve for the jester. So we
Yes.
had these email back and forth. I'm like, did he add the shake packet paper to the Creami? Is that
Terrible.
hot sauce? I'm like, why is his Creami liquid?
Yeah,
Mine
terrible.
never looked like that. I was ready to hop in my car and drive over because I've never seen these creations. So
Desperate.
it took you some time to get it down.
It really did. I emailed you guys on the weekend and I was frustrated and everything else, which is why I was jokingly, but there was really a kernel of truth to the whole idea of people, you know, I jokingly called out our dear members, Cheryl and Carolyn, for having Creamies, but never opening the box. We called it Creami Intimidation Crisis. Since I said that in that video, I have had at least 6 different people confess to me that they have the Creami and it's sitting at home and they've never used it. In fact, today, Marla, I told you I would read your email. The Creami machine is out of the box on the counter, but I haven't figured out how to set it up yet. Marla, when you have Creami intimidation crisis, the most important first step is you just have to accept that you have it, and then we can move on. So we're going to help Marla tonight, guys, and anyone else who might be having Creami intimidation crisis.
Yeah.
By the
and
way, you mentioned-
Kate is
go.
not understating the fact that you don't follow directions well.
Well,
That-
as a teacher, would you say I'm like, you know, upper quartile, or what do you say? No?
Sure.
Sure.
Sure. Your genius goes above following simple directions.
Yeah, yeah.
How about we go there?
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm all over the Creami now, as you'll see. We all are. Susan, you mentioned you called Ninja Creami. I do think that we need to acknowledge the fact that there is a shortage on Creamies now. If you go on Amazon, you can't get them. If you go on the internet and just search for how do I buy a Creami, it looks like they're in stock at these places you've never heard of, and then you cursor down and then it says buy it on Amazon. So it's this recurring loop of no Creamies available, which is kind of a
There's
bummer.
also a lot of people asking, like in our group last night, like which Creami to get. So that might be something
Yeah.
you want to talk about too.
You directed me in the right direction there, Barbara. Tell us.
Yeah, they have developed 2 Creamies now because they've become so popular. The one that works best for the way we use it with our HMR shakes, and anyone else that's using it with a non-fat and the low sugar type one, is the original Creami, which has 7 buttons on it. And because it has this pint container, that's a 16-ounce container, and it works perfectly for the amount of shake that we use, and that I would say most, if you're trying to, use a healthier kind of shake, make a healthier shake. The other one has a larger container. It has 11 buttons on it. So that is not the one you want. Now, I have not tried the new Creami Breeze, which maybe some folks in the chat can tell us if they've purchased that one, but it does, I believe, have the 1 pint container, and it does have the 7 buttons. So the new Creami Breeze may work. I don't know.
Just a quick hello to Linda. Hi, Linda. And she just wrote truth. Rick had to help me coax mine out of the box too. So I'm telling you, this is a real phenomenon. I'll also say hi to Rita, who's here. I don't know, Kate, if you saw anyone that you want to just give a shout out to training.
It's so great to have Deb with us. Helen, our former teammate is watching. Of course, Coach Nancy, amazing to see you. Jennifer M, haven't crossed paths with you lately, but I'm so happy to see that you're here tonight. So this is wonderful.
Yes, and Susan, the parade can officially begin because Charles is here. Hello, Charles. Good to see you, sir. All
I
right.
see Tracy too, my former phase two coach. Hey, Tracy.
Tracy, Coach Tracy. Awesome. All right, here we go. We thought the first question that would be important to answer, whether you're out there watching and you have a Creami or considering buying one, why buy the Ninja Creami? What's in it for you? So guys, I'll ask you the question. What's in it for people? Why do you like it? What's special about it? Kate, start.
It is literally ice cream. And for years, clients would say, can I make ice cream in my blender? Can I make ice cream in my food processor? Ice cream in a shake in the blender to me is a shake and you drink it and it's delicious. A shake in the food processor to me comes out mousse-like, very delicious, very filling.
Yeah.
But there is no way to replicate exact ice cream texture. I made this silly analogy to you folks. You know, one of my kiddos asked for toast. I can microwave the bread, but that's not toast. So if you want ice cream,
Perfect.
you want to get the Creami.
That is, I love that analogy. It's perfect. It's really perfect. You're right. There are those other ways of making shakes are great, but this is different. This is really different. Barbara, so it is ice cream. What else would you say?
It is. I used to have, and I know there's other ice cream makers out there, but it's almost impossible to make something with as much water content as a low fat, low sugar substitute contains. It's very difficult to make. I had one of the ones that you put the paddles in and you freeze the bowl, and it would make, but half of it would freeze on the thing. This is amazing, and it is ice cream. It is the consistency of ice cream. It is, and you may need to play around with it a little bit till you get the taste that you like. I've been informed by all these people who are these HMR taste test gurus that I have some sort of super sensitive taste buds or something.
You're a super taster. That's the term.
Super taster, yes. That
Yeah.
evidently I have some sort of, but it's just amazing, and it's like nothing else. And the wonderful thing for all of you with families is you can make one kind for your children and one kind for your guests who are coming over. You can make gelato, you can make sherbet, you can make, there's just so many things you can make. Now for us that are on weight management, we want to make this.
Right. Hey, talking about kids, I have to literally tell my son, don't eat all the peanut butter ones. He loves the peanut butter ones. I make a few. Yeah, by the way, you mentioned the water content. It's able to make the ice cream with a lot of water, which by definition means it's high volume but low calorie. We've been talking a lot in our classes, right, Susan, about why these less starchy veggies, you can just eat so many of them. The water content is so high. And we've also been hammering the value of really high volume shakes. How many ways can you add more fluid, more water, more flavored water, more extracts, whatever, to get the bulk up without getting the calories up? So yeah, that's a really fabulous point, Barbara. Susan,
Can I add to that?
Yeah, go.
Because I just thought of something. You talk a lot about calories per ounce and calorie density. I'm wondering like calories per minute, because the amount of time it takes to eat a Creami, I don't know. Like Rick, you'll have to run those numbers. Like how many calories do you eat per minute? Because what was it, like a 29-minute Creami? Right, Barbara, that you were having during our like dress rehearsal, and so like, how many calories is that per minute? It's like nothing almost. And you're, unlike a shake, like Kate said, you drink a shake, you really eat the Creami.
Yes.
So it doesn't really get better than that, right?
It's a huge
I
point.
made this 90 minutes ago, and
It doesn't
such
melt.
an amazing point about calories per minute, and it is still literally ice cream texture.
I've shared with you guys, I'm big on the double shakes, and I'll throw fruit in them, for half of them. And so, it's great, but it's gone, in under 10 minutes. And it's 240 calories for the shakes, whatever the fruit, 300, 350. I'll share my recipe in a little while. I'll do 140, 150 calorie Creami. and it will take me well over 20 minutes to eat it. So
Ellen
that's a
has a-
huge point.
Ellen has a great comment on here. She says you don't just eat it, you savor it.
That's right.
And that's true.
So
When
true.
you say Ellen, you mean Bernie. I think that's Bernie. I mean,
Yes,
she could, her real name's Ellen.
I know.
Yep. Yeah, calories per minute. She's giving you a shout out there. So that's a great concept. Oh, good. Donna's here. Excellent. Donna, I'm going to mention the point that you brought up earlier this week, a little bit later, about the sound of the Creami, the decibel level. Okay, so what's in it for you? So here's before we move on, unfortunately, we have to do this, you know, once you get to the level we're all at, guys, you got to pay the bills, you got to pay the overhead, you got to pay the salary. So I have to take a quick commercial break to represent one of our sponsors. And one of our sponsors for this event is Haagen-Dazs. Haagen-Dazs is now selling, did you catch this? Breakfast ice cream. Who needs cereal when you can have 2 scoops of ice cream? Well, I don't know if anyone's looked at the calories of our little breakfast treat. 380 a cup. So, Barbara, correct me if I'm wrong, but the pint here, 2 cups, right? Right, 2 cups. So the little Haagen-Dazs breakfast treat is 760 calories for breakfast. When the Creami, the one I made, you mentioned 200 calories. The one I'll show again, 140, 150. I mean, what a difference. What a difference. Unbelievable. Barbara, I'd sent the thing around about ice cream. You sort of liked that from WebMD. It was just a bunch of startling stats. Most ice cream is probably should be left in the indulgent periodic treat category. All right. Thank you for representing from the sponsor. Appreciate that. But I do think that actually brings up a serious point. Maybe the most common question that I've heard from people who don't have a Creami and hear us all waxing on about it. If it's so much like ice cream, won't this become a trigger for me? I mean, ice cream was part of a problem in the past. Who would answer? Susan, you start because you've actually addressed this in our groups. How in your head, how you view the
Ice cream was a huge problem for me. And how big are those like Ben and Jerry's? Because that's probably about the same size, right?
Yeah,
Pint.
yeah.
Yeah. So like I could down one of those easy. And so I mean, I get the thought. It's like it feels like the same thing. You can eat the entire thing. I guess it's just, first of all, you have to put a little effort into it. Like you'll go through the steps, but it's like a 2-step process with freezing the base first and then making it. So it's not like something you're doing like spontaneously, like secretly hiding it from your husband. Not that but it's like something you're doing very intentionally, and you know, like you can report your numbers on it and you're still in the box and you're doing all the right things. So it doesn't have that same sort of mental trigger feeling for me that ice cream does.
When was the last time you heard someone who has put all this time, effort, and commitment into, you know, some of the creative ways you can use the cereal or the shakes to make, let's say, muffins, and say, yeah, I made the multigrain cereal muffins, and oh boy, that just ran out and just ended up buying more muffins. I mean, you never hear that. You never hear it. There's something, I think you said it, the amount of time and preparation and care. It's all in line with making a successful choice. It actually reinforces your commitment. To me, it's just another creative way to make shakes. Kate, Barbara, add in here. Is this a trigger for you to eat more ice cream? Real ice cream? Haagen-Dazs breakfast ice cream? Barbara.
No, it doesn't. Well, I'm not a huge ice cream person. Gelato, yes, I love gelato, and this has more of that texture, but no, it doesn't. It satisfies some other, just a sweet treat kind of thing more for me than it doesn't. And are you kidding? As Susan was saying, it took me 30 some odd minutes to finish one. You know, I'm not like, oh, I need to go blend another one right now. No, it doesn't bother me.
What do you
I
add?
mean, I would say, I know your lovely sponsor, Haagen-Dazs, promoting ice cream consumption. Average American consumes about 20 pounds a year of, you know, regular ice cream. I would say if I looked at my data points, my ice cream consumption has gone down dramatically since I have the Creami. So it's served the total opposite. And I think it's because too, the texture is so comparable. And my ice cream that I make with this is so delicious. It's so filling. You eat it and it's not even like you're thinking, okay, now I need to get on to the next. So I would say for me, it's the total opposite. Rather than making me want ice cream, it makes me not want it at all.
I feel the same way. Do you guys feel guilty when you have a Creami?
No,
But
I
no,
have it for breakfast every morning.
Yeah, you feel successful when
Yeah.
you're eating real ice cream, particularly if you've sort of dove into it. There's this sense of gonna have to pay the piper on the scale with the calories, or gee, I hope I earned this. How was my day today? Or gee, I got to be careful here. Maybe I shouldn't have another scoop. Oh, what the heck? I've already started. Tomorrow will be a better day. I mean, that whole negative chemistry, brain chemistry that goes on. There's nothing like that when you're eating Creami. All right. So you mentioned before noon. I think that's something I need to work on. It just felt very indulgent for me to do one before noon. I shared that with you guys. I was like, oh, I can't do one before noon. And I was like, where's that coming from? Of course you can do one before, just having a shake. It's just a shake. There's just something about it feels indulgent. It's just wonderful. Okay, so Marla, are you listening? Anyone else out there who has the Creami in the box still? We're going to take this magical device and we're going to just bottom line it. Okay, let's turn it into a no-brainer. You got 4 steps. You blend it, whatever the mix is ahead of time, the day before. You blend it, you freeze it, you spin it, and then you respin it. Let me say that again. There's only 4 steps. You blend it, you freeze it, you spin it, and then you respin it. You got that, Marla? Just 4 steps. Super simple. Don't be intimidated by this. So guys, we're going to get into it here. Barbara, you're going to talk about the whole blending thing. Then we're going to assume it's been frozen. And then Kate, you're going to actually spin one for us here during the event. But before that, again, we've got to keep the lights on. We've got to pay the bills. I think we actually have another sponsor that we have to hear from. Kate.
Yep. So this other sponsor doesn't have any sort of visual sign for obvious reasons. Pacific Celery is also sponsoring this event.
Oh, good.
Unlike Haagen-Dazs, where the pounds of consumption have been increasing for the average American, celery consumption is down.
Big surprise.
It's down on average from maybe 6 pounds a person a couple decades ago to 4. It's going in the wrong direction. So next time you are in the produce aisle, give that celery some love, add it to the cart. Let's see what we can do to get those celery pounds up.
Doesn't get much more lower calorie than celery. So yeah, we're an equal opportunity event. We'll be sponsored by anybody. Haagen-Dazs, celery, we'll take it, whatever it works. Thank you, Kate, for speaking
Maybe
for
I'll
our
add that to
sponsors.
my Creami.
That's right. Yeah, but really, we need to be sponsored by Creami. That's exactly right. All right, Barbara, talk to us about the blending process. Now, again, this is 24 hours before you're actually enjoying the Creami.
Yeah, the first thing when you get your Creami, you want to get more than just a big part of the cost is how many containers come with it. Some of the cheaper ones come with 1 container. That's not going to do you very good. You can buy it now. Amazon does generally have the extra ones, so you can usually buy 4 more. I do have 6. Which are all full in my freezer.
I have
And
6.
when I start going, I just make several and then I have them. But it's really simple. You just make a shake. You just make whatever shake you're going to make without the ice. Okay, so I am fortunate that ever since I started my HMR journey, I use the Ninja Fit, which is a 16-ounce container. So what you're striving to do is come out with 16 ounces. Now, whether you make it in a blender and you make 32 and you make 2 Creamies, that's up to you. But so I'm going to make Stacy. This is Stacy's, my favorite one was her Neapolitan recipe. And it's simple. The same way I'd make a shake. I just put my frozen strawberries in. That's about a cup of strawberries. So a cup of strawberries, what is that? 80 calories. And then I'm going to put a couple of squirts of syrup in it. So that's some vanilla syrup.
Vanilla. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I use because with Neapolitan, and I'm here to tell you this tastes exactly like Neapolitan ice cream with the vanilla, the chocolate, and the strawberry. How it does that, I have no idea, but it does. So frozen strawberries, a couple of squirts of vanilla syrup, tablespoon of vanilla pudding, sugar-free, fat-free vanilla pudding, and then some 120 chocolate. So 1 scoop of 120 chocolate. So that's 120 calories. All right. And then the thing that I have used that I love, that I learned off of the Creami, from the real Creami sites, the people that make them, is to use this stuff that they call gargum. And this is a thickener that you use. Oh, look, the Amazon man came to Rick's house.
I think I recommended this to you, didn't I? The Gargum. Sorry, I know, terrible student.
Gargum it's a thickener. Now, we've tried some other thickeners. They recommend like the bakery emulsion thickeners, and I wasn't impressed with that. Yeah, see, I got Rick to try that as well. And they come in other flavors, but I didn't find that it made that much taste or whatever. So I just use this, but all you need of this is, if you put fruit in, you probably need only between 1/4 and 1/2 of a teaspoon. If you don't, the nice thing about the gargum powder is if you're not using any fruit, if you're only using liquid, it thickens it up a lot, and it takes less spins to do, because what you're trying to do is balance out that water with pudding, with PB2, with any of those things. Okay, so now I've got all this. I'm going to put my water up in here to make my 16-ounce shake, exactly the same way I would do when I made a shake. I'm going to blend it. Can she blend it? Can she blend a shake on Facebook Live? Okay, hang on. Now, unlike a Creami, it's only 30 seconds to blend it.
That's right. All right, so now
One
you're
second.
making, again, this is the mix from, that's the day before. You're making
Dead air.
Yep, she's got dead air. She's making the noise right there. We got you. So she had
Okay, here,
mentioned.
I'm
by
gonna
the
let
way-
y'all, I'm gonna do this while y'all, there we go. I'm gonna mute myself. Y'all say
Yep,
something.
you go ahead. I want to make a point. So, based on your recommendation, Kate, I got 4 extra pints. So now I have 6, just like Barbara said. I know you do too. I don't know, Susan, if you had bought extra as well.
Yeah, there was another brand you told me to get, and so I did. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my mind, but it has to fit properly into the Creami.
Right. So it's
Um,
right. Get the most
Kate.
popular one off Amazon, the one that's most common, and it's the right one. But you line up your 6 empty pints and you start blending, and you're doing your chocolates with whatever add-ins you're doing, and then you're doing your fruit ones, and then you're doing your vanilla ones, some with fruit, some without. You get them all, and then you just freeze them all. And then they're ready to go for the week. It's the way I do it anyway.
So
Okay.
this
what
is
do you got?
exactly the same as a shake. Now, notice how thick it is.
Yes.
That's because of the gargum in it. It just makes it thicker from the beginning. But I'm going to pour it into my Creami container. There's a ring on here that says do not fill above this line.
That's very thick.
You don't. Oh yeah. See, that's what it does. Now maybe I used a little too much. Now I am very careful about not going over that line, because it does drill through. Okay. So that's all I do. I make sure it comes up to that.
I'm
Oh, my-
surprised at how thick the gargum made it. So, based on your advice, I got both, and I tried the bakery emulsion. They're all in the freezer. I tried one today, and I didn't really notice a difference, but you said that this one's not as good as the gargum. So let's forget this one, the bakery emulsion, guys.
No, I like this. I'm going to put this in the freezer. I'm going to freeze it overnight. Now I have done them less than, oh, that's bad. I have done them less than overnight. I have done them, and it mostly depends on how much water it is, I think, and how long it takes to freeze. But I have done them with less, but make sure when you put it in the freezer that you do your best to keep it flat. Because the only thing they don't want you to do is tilt it and freeze it when it's tilted. Because when the spinner goes down through it, it basically drills through the frozen mixture and just the blade drills all the way down and then drills back all the way up. So you don't want it to be sideways because then it won't. Now, I know some people have told Rick that he has to cut off the top of his.
I read that somewhere.
I know. I've never had a problem with it. A lot of them, when they freeze, they rise. There's
Yeah.
like a little hill inside of it. But it's not, but yeah.
Yeah,
See,
show-
there you
show
go.
that,
Kate
Kate.
has a
Yeah,
perfect example.
Yeah,
But
see, it's like a little hill, right?
But it doesn't, that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about when it's sideways, you know,
I see.
and the whole, it'll drill straight through that hill, but it won't drill, you know, if you've got it in there sideways. It is a big difference. It's a lot of experimenting. Creami is a lot of experimenting with taste, with texture, and Kate's going to show us how to spin and everything else, but your freezer is a big part of it. How hard and how dense, you know, how hard your freezer freezes it is a lot of it.
And
Let me
I
just
will
ask
say,
some. Go ahead, Kate.
I was gonna say, I do a ton of recipes even without the guar gum that look liquidy when I make it. You know, this one was, you know, let's say 14, 15 ounces of water, vanilla 120, 1 scoop, a tablespoon of sugar-free lemon jello. And when I blended it, it did not look thick like yours, froze it overnight and still transformed it in the Creami entirely to ice cream. And the one that I do every morning, Rick, I don't have any guilt about ice cream at 6 in the morning, is I do iced coffee. This is really yummy. You can get it in any supermarket. And I typically will do it with the one of the chocolate shake packets, but any of the HMR shakes go. You could do it with a protein powder instead. I like things super sweet, so I add one of these. But the recipes can be simple. And again, they don't look super thick when I make it in the blender, but freezing it for long enough and overnight is key. I think that was one of your initial challenges, Rick, that you didn't freeze it long enough before.
Yep, that was number one. And then the other one was, and this was terrible because it was the first one I made and was singing its praises and had my daughter taste it, and I'd forgotten the shake powder. It was fruit. I'd put the fruit, I'd blended it, I'd had all add-ins and everything. I forgot the 120 mix.
I
So,
do that.
yeah.
I do that all the time. I have to put it, but fortunately, I think to myself, this is not exactly the right color I wanted this to be. So I have to make sure I get my shake powder in it. That's the whole point of making.
Barbara, you're vindicated. Bernie has just shared, never had a problem with the hill, the hill. So, okay.
Can I go ahead and show it?
Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
start my little, I shave it down because I heard that someone's blade broke, and okay, I'm gonna stop doing that.
So this is one that I froze overnight, just my iced coffee chocolate shake. And so once it's entirely frozen, you can take it out and you want to put it in its Ninja Creami container. You have the blade, and it is important that the silver blade is put in properly into the top.
Pay attention, Susan.
Okay. So then
That's
you
what broke
want-
for me. Yep.
Actually, though, one of mine did break, Susan, like yours, but it was after like thousands of Creamies. So this is actually my second machine, by the way. So that can happen. So you have your Creami in the holder. You want to make sure there's a place on the top that has to click down and click in. So it has to be clicked in properly. Then what you do is you put it on the bottom of your machine, and it has to be low. You hear a little click, and then you turn it counterclockwise.
And it rises up. Look at that.
It rises up. So you have all these settings as Barbara shared, and the one that I always use is the light ice cream one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press it, then I'm going to mute because it's super loud. Typically one of my children turns the TV on max volume when I'm doing it and leaves it on. So it is loud, but that's okay. It does take how many minutes?
3 or
I
4
did
for
one
the first
before.
spin, right?
Anyway,
90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes. You can watch, there's a little gauge across the top that you can watch. It goes to 4 lights. And once
Yep.
it goes across all 4 of those lights, then it's spun. But y'all will be able to see it from here because the drill will go down through
yeah.
it. You can see it.
That's
and
right.
then advice from maybe one of the wonderful folks in the HMR Facebook community, certainly you, Barbara. It works best personally when I do 1 light ice cream setting, and then I do a second respin, a second, and I'll show you guys. And then literally I'll show you that I could eat it with a spoon. It's going to be ice cream texture. So I'm going to press this and then I'm going to mute.
Spin it one, yeah, spin it once and then let us see what it looks like.
Right. Okay, so she's spinning it. So again, it's 4 steps. You blend it. That's what Barbara demonstrated.
Make it
Then you
shake.
freeze it overnight. So now it's the next day. And now Kate is doing step 3. Spin it and then a respin. So blend it, freeze it, spin it, respin it. That's it. And the more respins you do, the creamier it gets.
Yeah,
So-
you can't do too many respins. That's what I tried to impress upon Rick at the beginning. You
You
can't,
mean when I didn't do any respins?
yeah. Then there was when I was first doing it and I wasn't doing anything else, there were times when I did 4 or 5 respins. Now I don't ever do the light ice cream cycle again.
Right.
The Ninja instructions say to do the light ice cream if you're doing reduced fat and reduced sugar emulsion, the shake base. So I've never used anything but the light ice cream setting because that's what Ninja says. And then after you do that, Kate's going to show us you take you have to unseat it and come all the way down and take the lid off and look at it and see, and you'll know if it looks like snow, if it looks like powder, you need to respin. I am going to tell you that since I've been using the Gargum, I don't have to respin. Some I don't have to respin at all.
Wow.
Some of them I respin once, but it just, a lot of it depends on what the ingredients are that you put in it. But
So-
if you take it out, it looks like snow, put the lid back on it, seat it back in the machine, and the bottom down there at the bottom, you can see Kate's lights up there. It's already on 3 up there. So
Yep.
it's more than halfway done.
I
But-
want to just stress again the volume of this thing because
Oh,
Donna,
it's loud.
Donna mentioned it. Donna, hello. Thanks for bringing it. It is really loud, like really loud. It's so loud, honestly. I don't keep my Ninja Creami in the kitchen. I actually have it in the basement because it's going. And when you do the first spin, you can see it's taken a while. And then you do a respin. That's a lot of noise for a lot of time. So, I hear the rumor has it, guys, that in the world of loud noises, you've got the jet engine, and then you've got the category 10 earthquake, and then you have at number 1, the Ninja Creami. So you just might want to be careful with where you put this thing because it
It's-
is very, very loud.
But it's
Very
worth
loud.
it. It's so worth it.
Yeah,
So
no,
then you
it is worth it.
respin and you will see, you will know when it gets to the right texture. Most of them, there'll be a tunnel down through the middle of it. And it's spin. You can see the tunnel down in the middle of it. And then you can just decide, do I want to spin it again or not? Okay,
Yeah,
spin it. She's going to show us what it looks like.
So
Okay.
I could eat this and I'll show you guys what it looks like, but typically because I always do a respin, what I then will do is I'll just go ahead and put it back up, click respin, and I will go ahead and do that. But let me just quickly show you guys what it's going to look like if I just were to eat it. It tastes fine. And sometimes if you're going to eat it after only 1 spin, it looks ice cream like.
That looks
Sometimes
good.
it looks a little icy on the top if you're using water versus, I think diet soda or an iced coffee make it a little creamier the first time. But still, I love it the most with my second respin. So again, you want to put the top back on, click. You put it on the bottom. You want to hear that little click. Counterclockwise, I put it on. I'm going to do a respin. I'm going to mute, and then I'll show you my amazing ice cream texture.
Awesome. Cool. So that's going. Let's, as we're sort of nearing the finish line here, why don't we just review our favorite recipes. We asked each of us to come with what our favorite recipe is. Susan, why don't you start just to sort of touch on the tip of the iceberg here. Ultimately,
Yeah,
for
because
those
I
of you-
haven't had all that much time to experiment. I definitely noticed, at first I was trying to make it as low calorie as humanly possible. If you don't add anything, it just comes out powdery. At least it did for me the first time I did it. So my favorite so far is the same way that I would have a regular shake. It's I don't care if it's vanilla or chocolate, 120, either one are yummy. With I use PB Fit instead of PB2, same thing basically. Peanut butter powder, some Ghirardelli chocolate powder. It's like what is it called? Like Majestic or something, like super fancy cocoa powder. I will put a little syrup in there, whatever sugar-free syrup flavor I happen to have around, and some of the sugar-free Jello pudding mix, usually like cheesecake or butterscotch, like whatever, like just basically that's the template, and then just throw it all together and it comes out like a chocolate peanut butter ice cream, which is what I would choose if I were having, high fat ice cream too. So it's good.
And nothing that you mentioned there has a lot of calories. It's all
Right.
super, super low calorie stuff.
Yeah, I haven't put in the you can add like add-ins. So like I can imagine putting in like Reese's peanut butter cups or something. That might add the calories a little bit, but no, it tastes like that.
No,
Resist
but
that
you-
temptation.
I do add in fresh strawberries, or I love to do a peach one and chop up fresh peaches. So then you scoop a little out of the middle, you put those fresh things inside of it, peaches, strawberries, any of those things, and then hit the mix in, put it back up and put the mix in feature, and that goes in. I've tried HMR bars chopped up in there. I've just didn't add enough to me for the calories, but
Let me, I'll share mine real quick. Okay, so the cheesecake Jello, love that. But here's really what I do. Vanilla 120, add extra vanilla. This is probably too many syrups for you, Barbara, because you're a super taster. I am not a super taster. I also add white chocolate into almost all of mine because it gives it a premium soft serve flavor for me. And then a lot of coconut. I basically am making coconut ice cream that's made richer tasting by the white chocolate and the vanilla. And then that cheesecake flavoring just adds a little bit more to it. But the whole thing, 140, 150 calories. It's unbelievable coconut. To your point about adding fruit, the hole in the middle that if you've respun it, I added blueberries down there and I just drizzled a little bit of Truvia brown sugar 0 calorie mix on top of it. It was incredible with the coconut. So that's probably still my favorite, even though I got to say, and I don't know if Robin is in the feed. Robin, who's in our Tuesday night group right now, she just today shared with me her whole day of eating, and she yesterday, and she wrapped up her day with the skinny syrup peanut butter with the PB Fit and the 120. So an extra peanut butter pow. And she said she was completely full, of course, when the calories so low, which is kind of the whole point. So awesome. Couple of good recipes there. Barbara, what about you?
I have some new favorites. The Neapolitan is my all-time favorite. Lately, I've been doing a coconut lime. And that's really good. And so no fruit or anything else added in. So none of those extra calories, but 120 vanilla. And I grabbed this by water, but this one, I do the coconut by water. So a whole one of those because it is 16 ounces or whatever. And then lime Jello, which a teaspoon of that. The last one, I think I may have put 2 teaspoons in because I wanted a little more lime flavor. And then the cheesecake pudding and the gargum in it. And the coconut lime is so good. They all laughed at me because I sent them a picture of one because yes, I'm a Texas girl. I was eating my coconut lime one and I poured a whole thing of mango jalapeno salsa on the top of it. And that was my lunch. So sweet, savory. It was wonderful for lunch.
You're just playing chess down there in Texas. We're all just playing checkers. It's just obvious to me. Okay, so excellent. A couple of more. These are all just the tip of the iceberg. Ultimately, when you're experimenting, if you get a Creami, if you have a Creami, you'll find what works best for you. It will take some trial and error, though. Not everyone that you make is going to be your favorite, but boy, when you get your 2 or 3 favorites, you've just added some tools to the toolkit. Kate, favorite?
Yes, well, iced coffee with chocolate every morning. And lately I've been on a roll, vanilla 120. I do a tablespoon of nuts and more. Typically I do the cinnamon toast. This is toffee crunch, 25 calories a tablespoon. And then approaching Barbara status, after my respin, I will put a little Flavor God buttery cinnamon roll on the top and do the mix-in setting. And like the top of it has this extra cinnamon sugar taste.
Wow.
Very yummy. Let me show you guys the texture.
Yeah, please.
All right, so you want to take it down. We take the top off, and I will show you guys with a spoon.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Amazing.
Look at it.
Perfect shake.
Look at it.
Yep,
I still get excited about it.
it's literally the same texture.
It looks bigger than when you started too.
It's
Yeah.
like soft serve ice cream. Is really what it is. Not
Yeah.
hard, soft serve.
Really awesome, awesome stuff. All right, so we've covered the fact that can be made pretty simple, right? This is a game-changing device, but it's a no-brainer. 4 steps, you blend it, you freeze it, you spin it, you respin it. Kate just demonstrated it, Barbara just demonstrated it. We talked about some of our favorites here. Guys, before we wrap it up here, any other final tips, benefits, anything that you haven't shared that you want to make sure you represent here? Go ahead. Oh yeah, Flavor God.
Yep, this is Flavor God buttery cinnamon roll, but I also frequently do the chocolate donut. Ellen just asked the question.
I just heard Charles groan when you showed buttery cinnamon
Buttery
Flavor
cinnamon roll.
God.
You want to keep in your mind when you're making it that unlike a shake, you want to offset as much of the water as you can. So the things that make, help the water expand are the PB2, the Jello pudding, those kind of things that, of course, the HMR powder or any kind of shake powder. But that's what you're trying to do is kind of try and cut down the water content so that it's less icy. But sometimes it's icy. Sometimes I throw it in the microwave for 20 seconds before I start. Sometimes I run it under hot water because there's ice, sort of forms along the outside and you want to break up the ice. But since I've been using the Gargum, that doesn't really happen anymore. So
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to use the Gargum.
And if it's not the texture you want, typically a respin will get it there.
Yeah.
fix it.
Sometimes you have to do a few of them.
Susan, those first few that were crumbly, I found I had that same experience. This isn't that good. And then respin. My son does 4 respins for his peanut butter one. That's a lot of respins. But boy, is it creamy when he does that. All right. So guys, have we gotten the job done tonight? What do you say? Are we good? All
We
right.
have
For those of
creamies
you,
to eat, Rick.
what's that?
We have creamies to eat.
Yes, we do. Please. I mean, this has been fun, but we need to get down to business.
We need to
once
go
finish
eat.
this event. Guys, those of you who are watching, thanks for taking the time, especially those of you who do double duty and you watched HMR's Facebook Live event earlier. We're big fans of that as well. Thanks for being here. Give us some feedback. Was this helpful? Obviously, there are not a lot of healthy, satisfying options
Yeah.
out there. This Ninja Creami is a breakthrough technology, and it just gives us one more very entertaining, fun, delicious way to make the shakes. And boy, is that great.
I see Donna ask about the ice crystals. I hope maybe I answered that. I like to run it under really hot water. Just take it and turn it on its side and put the hot water and I think that kind of starts them on the process. But I also think if you'll put the other additive in it, that it'll break up the ice crystals.
I just put it in a bowl of hot water, that out of the hot water spigot. I just let it sit there for a couple of minutes. Yeah. So that's easily fixed, I think. Okay, I think we're good. So to our audience, again, thanks for being here. Whatever stage of your journey you're in, good luck with your next steps. Again, please feel free to give us any feedback on this event and have a great night. Good luck with everything. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining us and not Netflix.
Yes, tough to compete.
Keep
Guys,
blending.
stay on the feed here as I close it, and goodbye to everyone. Have a great night.
Bye.